kabirim 500 5000 fokata 10000 liters plumbing fittings fanan be mol bulle alsemol tarano sukuta highway mariama kunda johnson wala isimol kubandi 505 5691 796 8272 one stop water limited solutions inatale ka jiko be sonende gambia banko.
Good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we're sending shots to all our followers, especially those in the Philippines. We are back again. It's another day. Ibrahim Abalde and of course the VJ. We call him the VJ. It's good to be here. And I'm joined by my colleague, Aliou Cisse.
Thank you very much.
I would have given you the title Mr. Honorable Aliou Cisse, but I'm not so fortunate.
You know why I'm laughing?
Why?
I mean, the whole world, you don't think of anybody in the Philippines.
Exactly.
But who do you know in Philippines?
I have a special interest in Philippines. So, I mean, it's more of an interest-based thing. So, greetings, I mean, to those watching, let me say in Germany and, of course, in Italy. The last time I received a call from Abuja.
Oh,
there
really?
was a guy watching from Abuja. He sent me a message telling me I watched this morning. So, it's good to know that you follow.
This shows how connected you are.
No, definitely, absolutely.
Huh?
So it's good to be back here, Aliou, and it's good to have you on this platform.
Thank you very much, but it's always a pleasure to be with you on this platform. You know, you make me really laugh.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Bande. It's good to be here, viewers. Thank you.
Okay, and of course, we'll be having Serigne Modou Faye, one of the residents of Latrikunda German, and of course...
No, Latrikunda Yiringanya.
Yiringanya.
You know, you have different Latrikunda.
What is the difference?
You have Latrikunda German, you have Latrikunda Sabaji, you have Latrikunda Yiringanya, you have Latrikunda Piccadilly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they are all Latrikunda?
Yeah, man.
So it's all connected to the main Latrikunda?
Latrikunda.
You know, we have Latrikunda German, Latrikunda Big 3. Is Big 3 the Yiringanya?
Yeah, no.
Well. I think Big 3 is the Yiringanya. Mr. Boy, can you help us? You have no idea.
I'm really the wrong person to ask, sorry.
Latrikunda German.
German and Yiringanya are all the same.
It's all the same.
Somebody, yeah.
Well, I had a scenario whereby someone was at Serekunda market and it was like an apprentice was calling German, and one of these guys just came in and rushed in the vehicle, and he said he was going to German. So they dropped him at Latrikunda German. Well, okay, so we'll also be looking at social issues. Public health survey on smoking and enforcing the public smoking ban. I wish we can have Mr. Boy stay on the segment so that we talk about public smoking. Pollution everywhere. Aliou,
yes.
Pollution everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes. So we'll be having Seinabu Kamara Cham, program officer and non-communicable disease unit. We'll be here. And we'll be also having click segment Skengman, Buba Fati, Mama's friend.
Mama's friend.
Yes.
Seinabu
Bara Cham, okay? I mean, she's gonna kill me. Seinabu Bara Cham, program officer, non-communicable disease unit, and we'll be having the click segment. But first of all, we'll take a look at the African proverb. Aliou, take us.
Yes, the African proverb for today says, the young bird does not crow until it hears the old ones. The young bird does not crow until it hears the old ones.
Well, this is telling me of footsteps. I mean, you follow the footsteps of your elders. I mean, it's a formula. Yeah. It's the way. I will take it the way our society lives today. I mean, we live in a society that, you know, this is a thing that is copied from our older generation. Let's look at the way we live today. I mean, even this conventional way of living, of maybe moving from the old way of living with our grandparents, our parents, and our families in one settlement, in one compound, being responsible of certain things. I mean, this is the kind of situation that we are used to. I mean, as a family head, or maybe an elder brother or an elder sister, you live in a particular compound whereby everybody relies on you. But although I'm seeing a new phase of taking away that system, maybe people living alone now, maybe at the end of the time you try to move from the family house, I mean, settling somewhere, you are not following those. But it used to happen. I mean, this is how we follow the steps of our elders. The way they lived before That's how we continue living in our societies. Mr. Mboy, I don't know what you make of that.
In a traditional setting, yes. But now our societies are different. You have traditional elements, and you have what I call sort of modern elements. We're a bit more individualistic now these days. But I think this proverb sort of goes beyond that. It can apply in many different situations. As a mechanic, I come as an apprentice. I have to see my boss do work, do stuff, then I learn. It's just something as simple as that. Just as in other proverbs, you'll have something like a village without elders. It's like a well without water, that sort of thing. So you need the experienced ones to teach those who do not know. I mean, the very nature of human beings. I mean, just remember, we are born to parents. We spend a long time learning. This is really the life of a human being. We spend a long time learning before we become independent. I mean, we stay with our parents for about maybe 20 years, really, before you can go out there and become independent. That's a long time. So it tells you that we learn. Absolutely. We are like that. It takes time for us to adapt to our environment, and what is that adaptation, but learning, as it were. So this is it. The youth, you have to listen first before you open your mouth. This is really what this is saying, you know? God gave us 2 years, they said, and 1 mouth. I should listen twice as much as I talk.
It's important.
You see? Especially to young people. That's really what the issue is.
Well, it's difficult nowadays, Aliu. I think the youths are not listening. I mean, the way of living now, everybody thinks you can do it on your own. But it's important sometimes to listen to the elders, because they said when a child's hand is clean, he will soon eat with elders. You know, so I think it's important for us to listen to the elders. The other time we have Ida's idea here. She was here and she shared her experience with certain students. I mean, she said some of these students will not let her do the final touches on their career. That is, maybe giving them the final touches and praying for them to leave. Some of them will just leave and go do their own thing. So at the end of the time, 1 month, 2 months, they close down their businesses. So, comme magi nuñ ko don waxe sa ñaani kilifa or sa ñaani boss kula jangal, if you are a mechanic, all those things. Now we are living all those steps, Mr.
Yeah, I think for me, if you look at it, if you look at the current generation, I mean, sorry to say, but most of us, because of this, we are so egoistic, the pride. I mean, with small achievements, we think we have made it in life, and we don't even want to listen to elders who can really teach us something. Sometimes you'll be with an elder, and then the person is trying to advise or tell you, suggest something, and you are insisting, no, this is it, because perhaps you think you know it all. But like Mr. Mboy said, I mean, going by this African proverb, what it teaches us is that, as young ones, we should always, avail ourselves to the elders and listen to them. Even whereas you disagree with that particular elderly person, but just listen. And perhaps you can make sense out of what he also is saying. Perhaps what the person is saying, you as a younger person, you aren't saying that. All what you are saying, it is what is before your eyes at that particular moment. But what is coming next, you have no idea. And it's important that we always avail ourselves to learn from elders. Sometimes you say, I mean, you can even get a new job, you come to a new office. You know what is happening, but sometimes you come and you take a back seat. You are observing the environment. How do people operate here? It happens because you want to understand really who is who. How do people work here? And once you get to know all that thing, then you get to work, because then you already understand your environment. But many times people just come into a new work environment, you don't even understand the environment, and then because you don't watch, you don't observe how things are, you tend to make certain mistakes.
You go in the middle of the soup.
Exactly. Right. But like you said, this proverb really teaches us that as young ones, we should always be good listeners, learn from our elders, and then always try to seek advice from them. But then the fact of the matter is that most of us we then get a dirty. With small thing, then you find that way up there.
Absolutely, but again, life will be waiting for you. You're going to have a bumpy ride, to say the very least. Something else has happened as well. You have to bring in technology. What has technology done? Because now I can just take my phone, tap, whatever I want to find out, I can find out. So there is this illusion of what they call knowingness. I think that I know. So some writers make a distinction between knowingness and general and good knowledge.
Exactly.
These are really two different things. So you've got this fragmentary information. So you think that you know, but you realize that actually you do not understand the context. And without context, you really do not understand the concept or anything like that. So everything has a history. And things sit with other ideas. Everything has a history and has a context. So that is the sort of thing that doesn't come immediately to youth. It takes you a long time to see things in their perspective.
Thank you. To see things in their perspective. If you sit over there and you look at Mr. Mboj, very humble, down to earth.
Exactly.
When you look at him, you think this uncle, he old school. But this guy knows a lot, man. I mean, he knows a lot, man. He just looked at us and laughed.
and that's why I say, QTV, we are very fortunate to have,
people like Moj, Ade,
and then, the rest.
Thank you very much for at least sharing ideas on that African proverb. This is what African proverb does. I mean, they try to guide you, they teach you, they show you the way. Be reminded this program is sponsored by One Stop Water Solutions, and of course,
and Surwa Kamara Unified IT Institute.
Yes, Surwa Kamara. We will be taking a short break. After the break, then the newspaper review. We'll be back.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
Well, every day when I wake up in the morning, all that I think about is money. I don't know why. I don't know. Money keeps coming, in my mind all the time. Money, businessman. Sometimes people ask me different questions. Are you a journalist? I said, I'm not a journalist. Look, I am a businessman. Mr. Mboj, am I not a businessman?
Indeed you are.
You
are, then you are.
I am a businessman. So stop asking me questions about journalism. Ask people like Ali Esho, Mr. Mboj, are there? Well, it's good to be back again. And of course, we'll go straight to the newspaper review. And we have, Ali, what do we have there?
Yes, we have quite interesting headlines, Mr. Mboj. Ministers clash over German deportation agreement. Foreign Affairs Minister and the Minister of Interior.
Yes, quite interesting. It will be interesting there to go into some of the points that they were making. I understand that because remember with this one, the deportation, well, they call it the good practice agreement, wasn't it? Was it signed back in 2018? 2017.
I think when Dabo was the Foreign Affairs Minister?
Yes. Exactly. And in fact, you remember that time we were asking him the question whether we had any agreement with the EU for these deportations, and he denied all of that. But never mind, that's all in the past. Currently, now in the National Assembly, before the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Minister of Interior agreed, Sonko, said yes, there's a good practice agreement in which deportation is about deportations, and there are certain conditions, there are certain things that Gambians must do and other stuff that the EU must do and the like, but there's a current moratorium, isn't it?
Exactly, and according to this newspaper report, I mean, quoting the Foreign Affairs Minister, he said, and I quote, "To my surprise, I have seen that an agreement was entered between Baden-Württemberg in Germany and the Minister of Interior. I don't know whether you saw it. I have a document, I can give it to you." Here the Foreign Affairs Minister referring to the Interior Minister. And then that prompted the Minister of Interior to intervene and ask the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was the Minister for Interior at the time the agreement was signed. And in response, Tangara responded, "You were the minister." Quite interesting exchanges there. And then Minister Sonko further posted and said, "But I didn't remember signing it." Well, but Tangara swiftly responded again and said, "It was not signed by you because I have that document." And quite interesting exchanges, and then he Tangara reveals that currently 2 immigration liaison officers are stationed in Germany and Italy who are issuing traveling documents without the knowledge of the Gambian mission in Brussels. Quote again, he said, we should also know who gave those migrants documents to be able to come back to the Gambia, because Germany doesn't have the right to bundle them just like that and put them into a plane. And I know certainly our mission didn't give them the documents, said the Foreign Affairs Minister. And Minister Sonko admitted that immigration officers were in Italy. At this moment, the Vice President tried to intervene on several occasions to bring an end to the exchanges between these 2 ministers. What do you understand from this exchange between the Minister of Interior and Foreign Affairs?
Before Mr. Mboy comment, I think it's too unprofessional for 2 ministers to be pushing and pulling, asking each other questions like this. I mean, we've entrusted these people with a country. We've entrusted them with our affairs. I think they should handle it professionally. If they are sitting and talking, pushing and pulling like this, then this means we are losing confidence on the whole system. 2
ministries of the same government, this one signed an agreement. The Foreign Affairs Ministry is not aware. Already there are 2 liaison officers in Germany and Italy issuing documents without the consent of the Gambia's mission in Brussels.
Absolutely.
Quite confusing here. The same government. Are we in a disarray?
Yeah, it seems like a bureaucratic disarray in many ways. The ministers, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing and stuff like that. So it will be interesting to see what this report afterwards, after the National Assembly, the Select Committee, they've gathered all the information and see what kind of report they will bring out. We need to know this. But we've also known for a very long time, let's be honest with ourselves, that all these institutions, ministers of course included, President Barrow has brought in a cabinet, he's got ministers and all of that, but with all of these ministers and government departments, those who were there are still essentially there, so there's no incentive for any kind of reform, and they need reform. We know that perhaps most of them are bloated, some of them do not really perhaps have the qualifications to be where they are. So things are in disarray. For a long time they have no idea what good practice, there was really no good practice. So suddenly you want them to come and start doing things that other civilized societies do. I'm not seeing it, we are not seeing it. So we need to do the reforms. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. You've seen in the select committees how all these different bodies, nobody's following procedure, nobody's doing the right thing. The bureaucracy really needs to be changed. Otherwise, national development plan, call it what you would, nothing's going to go right.
What should we learn from this as a government moving forward?
Well, our president needs to act. Yeah. There are very tough decisions he may need to take, really, because he's got all sorts of plans, one understands, but again, to some people, to some analysts, I mean, when Kofi Annan said that the single most formidable obstacle between us now and development is really governance, and here we really go into the heart of governance. You may come up with all policies and ideas and the like, but the personnel who are going to implement, they're really the most important resource here. So how do you deal with that? And the African president will have a problem with that. We've seen in Tanzania, is it in Malawi, the president came out complaining. So any serious president in Africa today, you will complain about how the society is set up in such a way that we look at government as a place where we can just extract stuff. So how do you change these things and then bring in good, competent bureaucracy as that way? I look at the 2 ministers, it seems as if one blaming the other. It's quite curious. What kind of a cabinet?
Well, if the vice president had to intervene.
If 2 cabinet ministers are blaming each other, then there must be something wrong inside. Something is wrong somewhere.
Maybe there's no clarity.
They are avoiding something.
There's no clarity, there's no joint up coordination of stuff. That's it. You have these
I think it's important.
Administrative deficiencies.
It's also important for ministers also to sit. I mean, they engage each other on certain things they do. I mean, at least if I have an idea what Aliu does, I mean, at least I'll be able to know, because we are all working for the same government. So I think it's important, but it's like it's lacking. Maybe the only time they have engagement is when they have cabinet meetings.
We listened to how the other day. We listened to Hamad Bah. His attitude was like that. This is my ministry, this is what we do, other ministers what they do, and that sort of thing. And for us, our concept, how we see the notion of a cabinet, shouldn't really be like that at all. It should be much closer. That is why I really do not like the idea of cabinet ministers as it were being approved by the National Assembly. It shouldn't be the business of the National Assembly. That should be exclusively for the president. When you mess up, you mess up. It's a political thing. It's just a cabinet. It's just very, very small. But you need a team. How do you build a team? Both of you can be so competent in what you do, and yet with you, your character, your sensibility, you are more of a team player. Yeah. So there are certain areas where you leave the president to choose his team. This is not simply about competence. When I sit before National Assembly, what can you tell about my character? Not that much, really. You don't have that many hours. It's just a formal interview.
I mean, so if you look at it, you talk about the president getting to work. I mean, getting to work how? Putting his hand or mouth into everything? Because when that also happens, people tend to say, oh, even though he's the president. But sometimes I think that we need that in this country. We need somebody called Hamne, you know.
No, let's say a semi-dictator.
If that is semi
I think the thing is,
I think people here in this country, they don't like a soft person. They don't like it. I mean, Mr. Mboj, when I say a semi-dictator, doesn't mean that you have to be a dictator, but at least you need to be on top of things. I mean, at time to time, you need to call your minister and assign him to do certain things and question him on certain things. Otherwise, these things will keep happening.
Yes, yeah. I know. They don't like what they call micromanagement. And we don't even want your president to be a micromanager. Just make sure that everybody knows his or her job. There's clarity. There are benchmarks. There are ways of judging whether you're improving or not. There must be proper oversight. Reform is always difficult. We all know nobody wants it. You have to force it. So, given the weakness of our institutions, how things are right now, it will only take a strong leader. A strong leader need not necessarily be a dictatorial leader. You just need to be a strong leader for things to go right. Otherwise, I'm afraid there are people around you, they will try to manipulate all sorts of things so that, because they're looking out for their interest. But right now, institutionally, a lot of places seem to be in chaos.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, even if you send a particular letter to an institution, a government institution, it's difficult for them to give you audience, because when you go to the director, he will tell you, I've not received it yet. And the letter have already been sent there for many months. He will tell you, I've not seen it. And he'll be calling the secretary up and down. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? I mean, I think still now we are far behind. All these things should be put into place. I mean, if we are serious as a country.
You're making me laugh. I'm remembering myself when I'm talking about this. Most institutions with their communications department or communications, whatever, oh my God, they are the least communicative. Yeah. Quite interesting.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. And, you know, like I said, I mean, it's just unfortunate. But like you said, the president should really get to work. He's trying his best, but then leader. Definitely he really needs to be more strong and ensure that people deliver. At the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, whatever goes wrong, it goes back to him. They point fingers to the president.
Well, because it's the president that we are seeing.
And because of that, I mean, he should really make sure things are put in order.
Absolutely.
His house needs to be put in order, and that is starting from the top there where he occupied that office, coming down. We need to ensure that things are put on the right track for this country to move. You can craft your development plan anyhow, beautifully written and all that. Your ambitions might be high, but if those who are under you are not working as you want, then there's a problem.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, the president can be everywhere. You know, he entrusted you to be there to serve the interests of this country. For God's sake, if you know you can deliver, just resign and move on.
That's it. That was why most of us were waiting to see what kind of cabinet would he have? How is he thinking, as it were, that sort of thing. So you see that now with our problem, with our presidents, our leaders, we want you to have a vision, but much more than that. You need to have what they call statecraft. You got to know how to move things, how to maneuver situations so that you get the outcomes you want. When I say maneuver, some people might think that it sounds sinister, but it is not. You know, in a democratic, in a democracy, you have to compromise with all sorts of interests and forces, but somehow, through your understanding of the art of statecraft, you can come to a consensus of some sort, then you move on, implement your program, and then see the outcomes. So you've got to know how to do government, that in itself. Institutions matter, but again, statecraft, that art, as it were, of bringing in policy that would give you the right outcomes, the outcomes you want.
If you were to give an advice at this moment to both these two ministries to resolve this issue, what will be your advice? Because it's quite sensitive, you know.
Yes, advice, people and advice.
Because ministries are meant to collaborate and work together.
I hope people are taking them. I hope they are taking them.
No, but perhaps with Mr. Mboch, they will take a listen.
I mean, because it is obvious to all that what should have been done. You know what I mean? Obviously, both of you on the same side, liaise, talk about it. If there had been perhaps a clear position, a clear line, maybe it would have mattered. But now you can see in the exchange between these two ministers as if for a long time one ministry would do whatever it's doing, even though it might have implications for another ministry, but that person perhaps wouldn't be involved in it. As if you've got these sort of balkanized ministries, as it were. So, but that is not what you want. Who is the person who is going to coordinate? Is the president. That is why I go back to the president. He has to be a strong leader. Given our society how it is like right now, you have to be a strong leader.
Indeed. Mr. President, if you are watching, you have to be a stronger leader. I mean, this a mandate that you have been given by Gambians, and we hope, I mean, this mandate will be different from the first mandate. We understand, you know, you had some challenges in your first mandate for certain reasons, but this one, man, you can't afford to fail. I mean, if anybody is in that government and is not willing to work in the interest of this country, my friend, part ways. We want to see this country develop for the interest of all Gambians.
But I think the president is your friend. I mean, it's better for you. I mean, he's your tight friend. You drink coffee all the time.
Don't put me in trouble. People are watching.
You are talking to your friend. So it's important for him to listen. Well, viewers, thank you very much. That was the newspaper review. Very interesting out there. The interest is to see how best to move our country forward, because I mean, this is nation building, Aliu. I mean, the things that we are supposed to talk about, if we do not talk about them, this means we have failed the nation. People sitting at our houses right now watching, this is what we are supposed to do. Mr. Mboy, thank you very much for coming on this segment. And we are happy to have you here.
No, it's always pleasure to have you.
Yesterday, Mr. Ade was here, and he was sharing his love story with us. And it was very interesting. Thank you very much. Yes, we'll take a short break. After I like the name. I mean, if they call me BJ, it keeps me burning, fire burning. We'll be right back after the break. Then we'll go to the community watch. We'll be back.
Want it? Order for it and pay quickly using QuickPay on the QMoney platform. With great technology comes ease and convenience. Get a glimpse of what a comfortable life is with QMoney by dialing *323# now. Call 133 for more information. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe.
everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q Power. I am QCell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Very much and welcome back after that short break. Interesting, the newspaper review with Mamadou Mbodj Aliou, and now we're going straight to community watch. ñu waxtaanee affaire yi comme jëm kanam ci suñ gox yi fuñ dëkk ndaxte am na solo lool moo tax ñu invite kooku di Serigne Modou Faye mi nga xam ne mu ngi dëkk foofu ci Latrikunda Yiri nga ñaax waaye first of all Aliou dañ bëgg pour mu faram fàcceel ñu lan mooy différent Yiri nga ñaax ak Latrikunda Jaaman because am nañ fi a little bit confusion mënuñoo understand Yiri nga ñaax ak Big Tree waaw.
First of all maa ngi leen di nuyuwaat bu baax Aliou di nuyu ñi seetaan ci QTV yëpp ci waxtu bi laaj nga question boo xam ne foog naa ne it's very good for people ñu understand ko because Latrikunda Jaaman ok dafa rëy dafa rëy soo xoolee ci biir Latrikunda Jaaman am na koñ yoo xam ne branches yoo xam ne bu ci nekk am na turi boppam and Yiri nga ñaax later part bi laa ko doog a dégg man but Jaaman lañ amoon because soo xoolee fi Africell nekk ak Juma pipeline bi fii li indi woon Jaaman bi there was a Jaaman clinic there foofu lañ daan jëlee adresse boobu noonu te Jaaman dafa rëy soo demee ba fi Serekunda West football field bi nekk yëpp ci Jaaman la bokkoon Kanifing bi yëpp ci Latrikunda la bokkaan so dafa nekk loo xam ne lu rëy la.
ok bul ñu bëleem de ndax nga ñu si ob bi lañ jógee
xam nga ñun waa Basse rek ñu ñëw toog
moo tax soo xoolee benn alkaali lañ am
waaw so important na
waaw dañuy ànd ak benn vidéo rek après ñu delluwaat si waxtaan bi.
This exercise is carried out by the community at least twice a year to allow the free flow of water, prevent pedestrians, cyclists and motorists from having accidents. This time the youth came up with the idea of molding concrete slabs to seal the open gutters. Family heads, residents and citizens of the area now living abroad all contributed in cash or kind for the successful implementation of the project. Lamin Emit Ndong, one of the elders of the community, explains the importance of the initiative.
We don't have to embark on only government. At least we have to subscribe our quota on the development of what's happening in our community. So we don't have to rely on government. So we took it ourselves to keep it rolling. We got here that have been here for over 40 years, and due to health regarding these mosquitoes when the rainy season is on, so what we decided was to make slabs on the gutter to cover it up to avoid mosquitoes, and this is the project we are on to. We have contributors who have donated us, with kind or cash, of which we appreciate a lot.
Aissatou Bari, also a native of Latrikunda Yiringanya, stresses the importance of closing the gutters.
Gutter bi safe pour ñoom parce que dañ dé ñëw rek dañ fa na foyé kay la.
The gutters are not safe for small kids. They play inside the gutter thinking it is a playground. They also jump into the dirty water, especially during the rainy season, which can cause serious accidents, especially when there is a lot of water. Most of the time, we send them away for their safety because we live around here.
Musa Bah, the ward councillor, says the initiative is a clear manifestation that the youth have taken the lead in the community and in the country.
They've decided to come together at least to try to put up some cover, that is some slabs in this gutter that you are seeing around. For every other time, some people will come and dump rubbish inside the gutter. So by covering it, I believe that will at least prevent people from dumping inside the gutter. This is our community. When it is tidy, when it is clean, it's for our own good. Because end of the day, the more the environment is clean, the healthier the people around will be.
The community here believes that government cannot do everything for them. Thus, they have led the way in promoting sanitation, safety, and discourage illegal waste dumping by covering open gutters within the community.
A very significant point made by Babukar C there said the government cannot do everything for them. I mean, relying on the government, they have other commitments, although it is their duty to do these things. But I mean, if we can do it as a community, it's also very important. Yes, Aliou.
So Cham, jërëjëf si initiative bi ngeen jël nii pour mun a gis ne ngeen jéem a setal seen gox lu am solo la parce que am na yoo xam ne doo mun a xaar nguur gi pour ñëw defar la ko waaye yéen fa ngeen jëlee idea bi ne pour mun a gis ne gën a di jéem a setal seen gox.
Waaw Aliou laajte nga very important question boo xam ne nii wax dëgg ne naa sawar lool pour tontu si. I mean first of all initiative bi ni mu ñëwee mooy dañ gis ne ñun ñoo dikka ci gox bi. yow aussi di xale yi dañ mobilise ne léegi dañ bugg a def cleaning exercise pour clean sewage bi pour génne mess bi fa nekk. I mean biñ defee that cleaning exercise bi ba pare I came up with an idea ne leen why not lii waruta am ci lii rek tey li ma gis ñu génn nii yëpp if we come together as one umbrella gëm naa ne mun nañoo develop suñ koñ gi raada ñuy xaar nguur gi. so biñ waxtaanee ma ne leen nañ leen seet take priority ne gota bi it's just almost 200 meters or 300 meters. ñun community bi fii if we come together ñu contribute dinañ ko mun a defar I pledge ne man dinaa joxe a trip of stone and sand ak rock. One of my friends also jóg ne moom it dina joxe trip bi suuf ak xeer ak stofla ciment keneen tamit ne moom dina joxe 10 bags of cement ñu ne ok lii suñ ko amee then I believe ne mun nañoo door then ñu oote a general meeting with the community bi yëpp ñëw toog ñu waxtaanee ko ne leen léegi comme for a start la dinañ bugg a yéen ñi yëpp ku ci nekk joxe $50 yi pour commit leen. which ñoom ñëpp wax dëgg ak ne yàlla I was so impressed about it because biñ ko waxee dem na ba sax maire yi nga xam ne dañ daan teg table ci foofu di jaay assurance mu óor la ne li ñoo jaay yëpp suñ ko dajalee bénéfice $50 lañ cee am. they end up giving out that $50 back. pour develop seen community. mu nekk loo xam ne daf ma maag bi nga xam ne moo tax ma ne. nit mu ngi door dara. fekk xamul lu ci fu moo em ma ne kon lii duñ toog léegi what we need to do mooy dëgg la is the responsibility of nguur but su fekkee nguur ñëwangut ci yow te am na loo xam ne yow mun nga koo defar ko ama believe ne soo dooree su dee da nga soxla 100 nga génne 60 yaakaar naa ne du demee ci nguur gi ne ko dama soxla 40 parce que 100 laa soxla am naa 60 yaakaar naa ne dina war a mun a génne 40 ne leen am leen ci yoon because biñ ko initiaté ñu ngi am suñ koto yoo xam ne he is from Europe bu mu ñëwee toog ñu waxtaan mu ne lii ñoom seen boppa lii la ñoo développé seen community in Europe because community boo gis rek am nañ a council foofu ñoom si seen boppa ñooy génn di développe seen community bi because tey su ma toogee xaar pax bu ndaw bu nekk suma nguur ma ne suma bunti kër ma ne maa ngi xaar nguur gi mu ñoo defar man nguur laa man su fekkee dama bëgg su government defarutee ma wax man naa door suma waala su ëllëgee su defut dinaa mun a wax. moo tax bi ñu defee loolu mu ñëw into positive. because soo xoolee liñ jot a gaada at the end dem na bi nga xam ne sax am na ñoo xam ne si dee bi lañ yëg loolu dañ doon romba gis ko laajte ñu wax leen ko de ñu génne si seen poos ne am yokkaleen. because yoon bi maa defar noonu benn su nawet jotee noor wala nawet yëpp su yoo ñëwee balaa maati président bi man laa ñi ko maata because maa ko gën a jege. benn. su yaaxoo man maa ngi am moto fa laay war a jaar ak suma moto bi moto président bi xaw ma ban at laa dugga foofu so su ma toogee di xaar kooku donte moo ko war a def man su ma toogee di ko war a xaar te mu ngi maa lor te man mun naa si pexe why should I wait for them no I have to try for my own moo tax lii dafa dem tu gis nga ñun tamit am na foo xam ne dañoo pasin nguur am na yoo xam ne da nga koo pasin
waaw
lii moo ko waroon a def defu ko yow nga def ko su ëllëgee am na looy soxla dina ne kat kii lim munoon def na ko man lim xaaral ma nit ma dimbale ko
ma def ko waaw
raada lan ñu toog di ko xaar lii dafa nekk loo xam ne symbolique boo xam ne la Gambie war nañ see coppi gis nga réew du dox ñi fa dëkk ñoo koo doxal ñi fa dëkk ñoo koo doxal mooy lan mooy ñun ñoo fa dëkk ñun foofu lu fa yaaxu ñun laa gën a sonal lu fa baax ñun ñooy gën a bénéfice so liñ ci mun nañ ko ci def so moo tax soo xoolee tuddi images yaa ngi gis macha allah dama waxaat jërëjëf to the community because soo xoolee muy ndaw muy jigéen ñëpp a génn si.
waaw
ñu boo ko sot ko te tey fu mu xool nii soo xoolee 300 meters la almost 150 meters bi liñ liggéey Sunday bi dina ko cover. te di Sunday again tamit ñu ngi ñëwaat.
di ngeen génn waaye nañ waxtaan balaa ngeen a am idea bi pour cover mooy gota yi. ban jafe-jafe ngeen doon am balaa ngeen start liggéey bii nii.
ok benn bokk na si dégg nga jigéen bi ko wax xale yi dañ foog ne pax bi foyukaay la li faa daanu dafa bari moto yi faa daanu dafa bari te without that sewage boobu. soo xoolee tali boobu bi ñu ko liggéey man maa ngi nekk xale that was in 1986. Care moo ko liggéeyoon et construction company bu ñoo wax Care loolu jamonoy tubaab bi la ñoo liggéeyoon main highway Banjul bi.
ñoo def gota bi.
ñoo defar gota boobu te gota boobu daf ñu bénéfice because su fa gota bi nekkul ndox bi si kaw laa daw. te suy daw si kaw dafa xar yoon bi. so moo tax mu ngee daw foofu so lii bokk na si ba pare ñaareel hygiene biñ cee nooki because fu nekk la mes di jógee di ñëw. nooki biñ cee nooki mu ngi ñoo lor. benn yooyu foofu la ñoo jógee di dunda di ñu am doole pour ñëw si ñun. so kon ñun tamit ñu ngee xeex against environment. te gëm naa ne suñ demee ba si biir sax suñ jox leen ndimbal dinañ dem to NEA.
waaw.
wan leen ne tamit ñun def leen lii bëgg nañ ngeen dimbale ñu si lii. parce que ñun lii bëgguñ mu em si rek defal gota. non because foofu noonu nekk na yoon boo xam ne gis nga suñ ko tali woon da ngaa fóolee mun nga koo jaaree foofu ba fóolee ji bundung. bundung laa la wax de bundung boo xool. dafa connecté doo jaar si main highway. te these are things yoo xam ne tamit góor gi war na cee bàyyi xel because soo xoolee moto bari na léegi yoon bariwul.
waaw soo gisee comme noo ko waxee rek yoon yu mel noonu suñ ko defaree tey da ngaa gis congestion bu ñoo am si kaw tali bi fële dafa wàññeeku ko moto yuy dem bundung mun nañu jaar ni rek génn bundung
yëpp man at times ma war a dem Safidine dinaa génn suma kër taalal lay tiis duma koo fen ba foofu
waaw because xam nga soo ko bàyyee la comme ni ma ko waxee rek good initiative la ñu bari dañ ko def ñu ne door dara yomb na waaye nga dëkk ci mooy lu jafe ban plan ngeen am pour mën a gis ne li ngeen door nii tey ngeen continuer ko
good moo tax soo xoolee contribution bi ñoo def nii am nañ projet wala amuñ projet it still goes on duñ ko bàyyi te tamit dinañ fugga yeneen i bunta parce que ñun bugga nañ loo xam ne social ñu ni neen sax because ñun ñoo dëkk ñu ni neen te doole yi amuñ xëy na man su tawee suma kër du seena waaye am na koo xam ne su tawee këram seena so contribution bi ñoo def noonu duñ ko stop te tamit dinañ dem round fooga bunta yu bari because soo xoolee suñ jógee si sewage bi am nañ éene ne street lights because street lights yooyu ba moo gëj a tàkka non kenn mënu laa wax ban jamono la
depuis atum ponda
waaye atum ponda sax daw raw meenam yoon lañ gis ne last election lañ ñëw ñu because ñu ngee ut dëkka ñu ngee ut place ñu dem taab ko si suñ meen soosé si mu taal continuously bañ saanee carte tey suba si
waaw loolu moom
ci lañ ko gëj a gis
loolu taamu nañ ko si politics
yëpp moo tax ñun nag we got wise
amin nguur bu fi nekkoon balaa nguur mi dañ daan gis ne amoon na li ñu dee ooyee setal like every month benn yoon ñu setal dëkk bi mu nekkoon loo xam ne lu amul fayda la woon yow si sa xalaat foog nga ne nguur bi nii war nañu indiwaat lu mel ni loolu loo xam ne at least maybe once in every month xam nga ñu dédiquer ko pour jéem a defar suñu environment jéem a setal suñu environment yow si sa gis-gis évidemment ñu bari yoon ok def di am impact si économie bi because xam nga def dee fekk bitig bari dañ dee leen dee tëj waaye foog loolu tam am na solo
Aliou
once in a month at least
ma jox la benn misaal muy juma muy cooc suñ ko waree defar dañ koo daaneel yaaxuñ ko lu dañ ko yaaxa doo koo defar su yaaxee économique bi mu ngee defaraat feneen ba nit ñi am économique te amuñ wér gu yaram ban njëriñ la am kanay dundee xaalis kanay dunda soo gisee nit di defar dëkka kañ économique di healthy pour ñi fa dëkka la su économique healthy te ñi fa dëkka healthy wuñ ban njëriñ la am gis nga lu baax dañ koo roy lu bon ñu daax ko waaye luñ fi fekk lu baax nañ ko continuer luñ fi fekk lu bon nañ ko continuer Aliou fii ñun ñëpp ko si nekka man suma moto bi laay jëlee exemple ñu bari dañ ma ne yow da nga bëgg a raxas ma ne moto bi su tilimee dinaa tilim because fa laay sol lu set dugga fa su tilimee su ma fa duggee ak lu set mu tilimal ma te saa yu ñu eewoo suma kër dinañ ko bale dinañ ko fompa léegi mbéeda bi nag te ma joxe benn exemple there was a day dama doon dem Banjul on the main highway maa ngi dawal suma moto di dem bi ma dem ba ci yoon bi gis koo xam ne dafa lekka ba pare saani ko si mbéeda bi tayalewu ma ko dama toppa ko ba form double signal ma form mbalit bi dama ko toppa ba dentin bridge ma overtake ko taxaw ci ganamam ma ne police bi stop
loolu xam naa joolaay ak séeréer ñoo def loolu
mu taxaw ma ne ko yaa saani li mu ne ma waa maa ko saani ma ne ko lu tax saani wuloo ko sa moto bi ma ne ko ñun ñoo moom réew mi ñun ñoo ko war a defar ma ne ko soo jëlee mbalit saani ko keneen saani mbalit yow yaa ngi bañ saani ko sa biir moto bi ko dafa tilimal sa moto bi léegi mbedda bi nga tilimal environnement bi ma ne ko ñun ñoo war a door te yooyu dama gëm ne messages yooyu yu ñu war a jël pour leen in place la ne kuñ si téye nga jël mbalit saani si mbedda bi you have a punishment for it.
xam nga ñun Gambia dañ am benn problème mooy consistency duñ ko dee def amoon na time gisoon naa ñu ngi doon def sensitization bu mel noonu ñuy won nit ñi soo leen lekkee si moto nga nekk def ko si moto bi o bu nekkee van la def ko si van bi driver bi dina ko saani waaye comme du dee continuer
waaw because ñun li xew mooy start rek lañ am
non waaye man si foog na am na yoo xam ne maa tey la because kooku lamuta sànni ko si moto bi
waaye bi ko xam na ne su ko defee dara du ko si fekka
soo si man foog naa
gis nga réew mi pour mu dox buñ gis nga yàlla moo ñu binda moo ñu ëpp yërmande téeméeri yoon waaye léegi-léegi mu rek a suñu digga bi nga foog ne kii daf ñu bañ because loolu lu tax bëgg nañu ragal ko gis nga soo jiitee nit ñi ñeme la mbaa nga noppi nekk muumu lu neex waaye def la te lu neex waaye def mooy yaaxa réew mi
dëgg la
because soo xoolee tey fu mu nekk nii it's not about politics or any other thing but let's say the hard fact
no it's national development
Aliou réew mi su baaxee benn gandu la defaral réew mi Aliou gis nga yu bari yu xew fii tey ñu ni neen di lekkante ni sorry for the language lan moo tax because of lan ki war a wax waxut ki war a jëf jëfut
o nga war a wax
di xool
ba pare doo wax de nga dem ba laaxu rek nga sta di wax si
da ngeen fi wax benn wax bu important gis nga nit kuy wax di seet daraja mbaa muy seet poche mbaa muy seet ku ko mere du wax digga mukk
dëgg la ñu ngi ma woon ne time bi jeex na waaye suñu waxtaan bi am na solo de
am na solo
mu ngi mel ni yow 1 hour nga waroon wax bi am na solo waaye dinañ la invite
incha allah
nga ñëwaat at least ñu toog because gis nañ ne yu bëri lañ jàngee si yow you know waaye dañoo try ñu sedulaal another time ñu invite la nga ñëw si programme bi ñu gën a setal affaire si xam naa suñ demee ba liggéey bi yëpp jee bu boobaa dinañ la invite ngeen wax ñu progress bi waaw kontaan nañ torop si ñëw bi well viewers we'll take a short break after the break then we'll go straight to social issues we have Sainabou Bara Cham here with us I think I mentioned her name previously wrongly I hope she'll forgive me for that we'll be back
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back from that break, and of course you're watching QTV this morning, and we're going straight to social issues, and we're talking about public health survey on smoking and enforcing the public smoking ban. And we have Sainabou Bara Cham, program officer, non-communicable disease unit, and she's here with us already. I think this one will be more than interesting, you know, because smoking, it's something that has to do with everybody. Whether you smoke, you don't smoke, it has to do with you. Because, I mean, people are smoking all over, and this is introducing passive smoking. Welcome to the program, Sainabou. I mentioned your name wrongly the other time. Are you from Bara? I call you Sainabou Bara Cham.
No, Bara is actually my middle name.
Oh, your middle name. Yeah. What does it mean actually?
It's actually my dad's name.
Oh, your dad. Oh, Bara. Okay. You know, I am Ibrahim Asuri. Yeah. I am Ibrahim Asuri. Suri is a title.
All right.
Yes. Suri is a title. So I was also thinking it's a title.
No, it's actually my
yes.
dad's
Thank you.
name. Thank you.
So you are welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
can you take us through some of the things that you do when it comes to public health smoking? Tell us about public health smoking.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. So you mentioned something very, very important. You said smoking does not only affect the person smoking. So that is why, because when you look at smoking, and you look at our unit, which is non-communicable diseases, when you look at non-communicable diseases, you're looking at diabetes, you're looking at hypertension, you're looking at the respiratory diseases, and of course cancers. And when you look at this, it's actually on a rise. It's showing that 34% of our death is actually due to non-communicable diseases. Why are we so concerned because of smoking? We know when we talk about non-communicable diseases, we have things that we call the risk factors. And when you look at those risk factors, smoking is part of it. That is tobacco use. And when you look at tobacco use, we're not actually only talking about cigarette. We're actually talking about the shisha is actually a tobacco product. We're actually talking about whether it's the powder that is used to sniff or lock or any other thing. So those are tobacco products. So we're actually working towards how to ban smoking. And when you look at the Tobacco Control Act, one of the things that we have done to make sure that the demand and supply of tobacco is being controlled is through the Tobacco Control Act, which was enacted by Parliament in 2016. And in the Tobacco Control Act, we have a lot of provisions. And this provision, one of it is the smoke-free law, as you said. And what does the smoke-free law? The smoke-free law is everybody has a right to smoking. We all know where somebody's right starts is where another person's right stops. If you as a person have a right to smoke, I as a non-smoker also has a right to a smoke-free environment. So you as a smoker also should ensure that people are not exposed to smoking. Because what happens to the other risk factors? Because the other risk factors of non-communicable diseases include unhealthy diet, it includes physical inactivity. But for example, if you are eating unhealthy, it does not affect alio, does it? But if you were smoking here, it directly affects alio.
Exactly.
And as you said, passive smoking, we have something that we call second-hand smoking. It's like someone inhaling the smoke and he does not intend to smoke. And we're not only saying second-hand smoking, we have something that we call the third-hand smoking. And what happens in the third-hand smoking, for instance, if this studio was a smoking zone, I am a smoker. After smoking, I leave. Even after hours, the smoking still lingers on the walls or on the clothes.
That's
third-hand smoking. Okay. And if a person comes in who did not intend to smoke, that person also takes in. And we're saying that when someone puffs a cigarette or any tobacco product, it releases about 7,000 chemicals. And in these 7,000 chemicals, 70 are being confirmed to be carcinogen. And the interesting part of it is, what does smoking entail? The smoke itself. It includes harmful substances like tar. When we talk about tar, tar is actually what we make the road with. And it has butane. Butane is actually...
So you want to tell me we have godorong on our cigarettes?
Of course, we have godorong on our cigarettes. We have butane. And butane is actually...
I'm looking at
and butane is actually the gas that is in, like the cooking gas.
Yeah.
For example, if you have light a cigarette here, no matter how much there is air, the cigarette will never go off, will it go off? Because it has that combustion substance there that keeps it lighting. So that is the problem. So that is why the Tobacco Control Act is actually put in place, like the smoke-free. It says that people can smoke, but it has to be 100 meters apart. 100 meters apart from public places, 100 meters apart from the next person. And there is no indoor smoking. For other people, like other countries, they have something that is called smoking zone. For example, in this QTV platter, you'll be like, okay, when you go downstairs, there's a room for smoke-free. As I mentioned, the third-hand smoking comes in place. That is why in our law, we don't have any anything catered for a smoking zone. We don't have any smoking zone. The smoking zone is 100 meters away from the next person. And you are not expected to smoke in public places. And when we talk about public places, where 2 or more people meet is a public place. Whether it's the garage, whether it's the transport, whether it's the public transport, whether it's the markets and all of those things, including restaurants.
Fortunately for QTV, I can tell you 99.9% of our staff don't smoke. That I can tell you.
That's
yes,
really
that I can tell you. But then you talk about the Tobacco Control Act, where you said people have to stay some meters apart to smoke. Are people really, adhering to this law?
Our problem is adherence.
Yes.
Because when you look at the Gambia survey, it shows that more than 50% of Gambians are actually second-hand smokers. Because there is indiscriminate smoking. I can remember every quarter we have joint enforcement, because when you look at the Tobacco Control Act, we have enforcers. These are the people that are supposed to make sure that this law is being in place, and these include, we know the laws of the Gambia. Obviously, the police officers will be the public health officers, the environmental officers, and the custom officers. But when you look at it, people will try to stop you to smoke and all of that, but still, people are still not adhering. When we do the enforcement, we get to the entertainment areas like the hotels, like the clubs and the restaurants. For that week, you will see at least the shisha jars will be disappearing. People will not, because according to the tobacco control, you should not even put things that suggest smoking. For example, if I come to this platform and I see an ashtray, this actually predicting me that I can smoke here, not so. So those should not even be where, when you go to restaurants, you should not even see ashtrays on top of the tables. So enforcement is really a problem. We have been working closely with our partners, especially the police. If you could remember, some time back, the Deputy IGP actually gave a statement reminding people that actually there is a law that is banning public smoking and all of that.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
is a problem.
you talk about the restaurants, and sometimes when you go to these musical stores, I am somebody who hardly go to a restaurant. I eat more of bread and butter. Okay. But then there was a day I went to a particular restaurant, and because of the Caesar, I couldn't stay longer.
You couldn't. Yeah.
What do you do to ensure that, I mean, all these restaurant owners, I mean, ensure that this act is respected, because they have a role to play? You own your restaurant, you sell this Caesar, but you also have a responsibility as to how people should use this Caesar there.
Yeah, because even if we were following the Tobacco Control Act strictly, the shisha should not even be in the restaurant.
Yeah,
because the restaurant is a public place. And when we were looking at the shisha, you know, the tobacco industry are very, very wise. So when you ban them from something, they bring subtle ways actually to change stuff. Because a lot of people will tell you the shisha has a nice scent, it's not tobacco, it doesn't harm you as cigarette. But research is saying otherwise. Because research is saying that a 1 hour session of shisha is actually equivalent to 100 sticks of cigarette being smoked. It's more deadly than a cigarette itself. And look about, like, for example, we are friends together, we could not afford each session, so we'll have one Caesar jar and we'll be passing it. You know. You don't know if I have any airborne disease that I might transfer to you. So those are some of the problems.
And sometimes you go and see almost 5 people sitting and using
one
the same.
jar. So they will tell you we actually change the filters, but how many people change the filters at a time? So that is actually one of the problems.
That is just to sugarcoat.
And now let's look at the issue of enforcement.
Yeah.
Prosecution. Do you have any powers to prosecute people who are found violating this law? And if yes, how many people have you prosecuted? Have you been able to prosecute?
Yeah, I think few people have been prosecuted, because, for example, the last joint enforcement we had, because with the Tobacco Control Act, it does not only stop at the smoke-free. There are other provisions like the comprehensive ban on tobacco advertisement and promotion. It also includes the sales of minors. It says that minors should not be engaged in the sales and buying of cigarettes. So the other time around, and the display, because if you look at shops now, before you'll have this small kiosks that they would nicely and neatly arrange the cigarette packs. So according to the tobacco control law, tobacco should be sale at demand. For example, if I'm the shop owner and you come to buy a cigarette, you should not see it. You should ask me for the cigarette, then I remove it whether from the counter or from the box I kept it and give it to you. So it should not be displayed. So at least when it comes to the display, we have actually had progress, because you hardly see a display. And you, because according to the Tobacco Control Act 2, the sales of single cigarette sticks is prohibited. But now we're seeing, like, for example, if I'm a shopkeeper, I know you're my regular customer. When you come to buy a cigarette, I know I'll sell you. If he comes and he's not familiar, I will not actually sell him. We know that still it's going. And around Farafenni, when we were doing the joint enforcement, we realized that now it's shifting to the people that sell the coffee around, the local coffee, what is it called? Cafe Tuba. Yes, so the Cafe Tuba sellers are the one now selling the single cigarette sticks. So they were actually apprehended and taken to the police.
Disguise themselves?
Yes, from the shops now to the
I mean, I'll just take you a little back. You said, I mean, some people were prosecuted.
Yeah, they were actually taken. For now, we're not actually prosecuted, because it's a long process. Because when someone is being caught, you have to go to the police. From the police, you've been prosecuted, and you have to go to the the court. For now, we're actually trying to intensify the health promotion aspect to actually make sure that now everybody will not be saying, okay, I did not know this was it, or I did not know. So this is why we have gone through the length and breadth of the country here to Basse. We have done series of orientation from Shopkeepers Association, from the Lumos, from the Alcalos, from the youth organization, parents, teachers, to just make sure that the message is being disseminated to everybody.
Yeah, because I know for certain, I know growing up, the Njandega advert on the radios, people
Yes.
advertising Marlboro, Piccadilly,
Yes.
but that has stopped.
That has
but
stopped.
even with that, I mean, Mansiman cigarette is the only
You know,
thing where you see and they put the smoking kills.
I wanted
so
to
for me,
talk
I think
about that.
anybody who
I've
smokes...
also seen you've enhanced that. I mean, they should put that description that it kills.
Yeah. And now we have moved from health warnings to graphic health warnings. I don't know whether you
I've
have
seen
seen
a
the
child,
new, yes,
a baby.
yes,
Yeah,
we have moved from just the health warnings to the graphic health warning. So all of these are measures put in place to make sure that smoking,
people, yeah.
yes, to discourage. Because when you see before there was just the packet, but for example, when it happened sometime in England, a lot of people started prosecuting the tobacco industries because, okay, my dad died because of cigarettes. So now they also came with smoking kill. So now it's left to your discretion. You bought it and you know that they have already written.
I want to be so. What is in a law if it is not enforced?
Yeah.
People are violating this law. This is a law. This is an act. Right? Passed by the National Assembly. It's a law.
In 2016.
So definitely, I mean, if you are not prosecuting people, how do you expect people to take you serious?
Abide by the laws.
But then, the community, you know, next 2 weeks, I mean, you should really answer that people who are found to be violating this law are prosecuted, and then, you know, at least you can set an example to others.
Yeah, so we have to
Why
start
must
from
I
think we have to start from the enforcers themselves. Because if you're an enforcer, as the 4 I mentioned, and you're the same person making sure that you're breaking the law, then it becomes a problem. So it has to start from the enforcers, making sure they don't smoke while they're in their uniforms, they don't smoke while they're in their stations.
The enforcers smoking.
Exactly.
Yes, we've seen them smoking. I mean, so, it's very difficult, yes. It's very difficult. You know, this thing, it has to do with everybody. For me, do you know how many times people smoke near me and I've been perceiving all these smokes?
Exactly.
You know, at some point, for me, when I send cigarette, I cannot breathe. You know, I have breathing problem whenever I send cigarette. So it's important for you to start enforcing this. In the Gambia, we have one problem. We are very good at paperwork. We are very good at workshops, but to implement is a problem. With all these things that you've said here, I know you've really tried. I mean, going up to the Lumos, sensitizing people. And I've also seen changes because I don't see cigarette now displayed in shops. I was even surprised the other day not seeing cigarette at all. I mean, so it's very important, but still we need enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll just come back to the issue of concerts. When you go to these concerts, I mean, the public smoking, I mean, forget about it. For them, that law doesn't exist. For example, just 2 weeks ago, I was at ST's program at the stadium. Come on, think talk, guy, one don't talk. They just hold myself because how many bro, I'm going to ST. I mean, what do you do about those things?
Guy, they don't pwn. They were phoning. Okay, are you only enforcing laws on cigarette or marijuana?
No, on cigarette.
Only on cigarette. Why wouldn't you do marijuana?
No, I think you have the drug law enforcement agency.
They don't want to do marijuana.
So what do you do about these concerts? Before they took cigarette, understand? What do you do about that?
I think we still need to work with enforcers, especially the police officers, to make sure that during concert the law is being abided, because there is no exception to the law, whether it's the concert, whether it's the hotel or any other. I think the law should be the law, and the law is not here to witch hunt anybody. It's just to make sure that the health of the public is being safeguarded. As we said, tobacco is something that causes a lot of diseases, whether it's hypertension, whether it's diabetes, the asthmas, and the cancers. So it's everybody's problem. As he rightly said, it's not only the person smoking it, but also the people around it. There was a time one of the health messages said, smoking does not only harm you, but harm others around you. And it's very, very true, yeah. And I think everybody should make sure that, for example, like if you're around someone smoking, you also have the right to make sure that you push or you tell the person to stop smoking. Yes, or if the person is smoking in a car, you have the right to tell the person to stop, or when you get to the nearest police, to make sure that you report the person too. I think it's high time we also try to know what our right is. If the person has a right to smoke, you also have a right to smoke free. And the problem also
in a
is
commercial vehicle, sometimes
the driver
will
himself
be smoking or the apprentice will be smoking.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to look at something which is a concern for me. I mean, one will say, okay, smoking, gorilla and hame. Or when you go to these restaurants, you see young ladies smoking. What is the health implication of having those young ladies smoking?
Yeah. So so Ali, when you look at a cigarette, there is no known benefit of smoking. Okay. There is no known benefit.
Some people say it makes you relax.
Yeah. So that is just
it do away your stress.
That is just a myth, because I think if it was doing away your stress, the moment you take a stick, you'll be okay. But like you'll keep on smoking and smoking, and if the stress does not increase, it does not diminish. So smoking has no known benefit. So we have this diagram that is called the smoker's body. So you see smoking harms from the head to the toe. So and we're very, very worried that now females are into smoking, because what happens is when a female is smoking, it actually apart from like the heart diseases, because what happens is when you're smoking, you know, the body is a wire kind of, you know, the arteries and so on. And the moment you start smoking, it actually clogs, or it actually thinnens the arteries and the veins that is supposed to supply and take to and from the blood, and that causes hypertension, and it can even lead to cardiac arrest. We talk about cancers too. It can actually cause cancer of the mouth, the lungs, or any other part of the body. But for females, what we are actually particularly concerned is the reproductive system. What smoking does is, one, it actually tampers with the menstruation, the menstrual cycle. Is actually they have irregular menses, or it doesn't come anytime, or when you have kids with abnormalities because of the smoking. They might, because of a lot of the content it has, you might have kids that have abnormalities, whether it's physical abnormalities or psychological abnormalities. So that is what it does, and it also causes infertility. It can even lead to you not having kids. So we're actually worried if actually women that are supposed to be like increase the generations to come actually indulge in this. And when we talk about smoking, we are not excluding shisha.
It's dangerous.
Yes, we are including shisha. And when we look at shisha, it's the youthful population and females. So we have to just remind them that shisha contains tobacco. I think that should be clear. Shisha
but for me,
tobacco.
I'm really concerned. I think your team should really visit all these restaurant owners and made it very clear to them, you know what, I mean, the way you sell this here is against the law.
It's
To
against
be honest with you, just go there as an ordinary Gambian, and you see how they operate there. Definitely, you know, you will have.
What about the one that we call tobacco? is that also part of it?
Yes. So we used to know tobacco to be smoked, sniffed, or locked. But in the Gambia, we're seeing a different dimension that it is going to. People are using it for different reasons. So actually, this tobacco is actually still under investigation, because we're trying to see the actual content. Because it seems this is a concoction of substances. It seems the one in Bakau might be a bit different from the one in Birkama, depending on the person that is actually making the substance.
And the one in Birkama might be different from the one in
flavors. So some people will tell you, like we have trying to collect a lot of samples. If you see the different samples, you will see one that is actually greenish. You see one that is blackish. You see one that has a paste. So we know that some people actually mix it with the bark of baobab tree. They use it and kind of roast it. We know some people use kubejaro leaves.
Oh.
Yes. So there are some people that actually add shea butter to it. So when you see that one, there is a paste. But what we know is a lot of people use it for different reasons. Some people will tell you it's a medicine that cures everything. Musuboro. It cures everything. And the sad thing is they're actually using it on small children too, as young as 3 years, because they are now saying it actually treats bedwetting. People are using it for infections. People are using it for sexual enhancement. What we're just saying is that is very, very dangerous, because when you look at where the passage that they put it, that is the vaginal canal, it absorbs faster. The same membranes that are in the vagina is the same found in the mouth. and they absorb really fast. And when you put certain types of things, what happens is it erodes them. Because we know that when you look at that place, the female private part, it's made in such a way that it has normal flora. It has certain things that protect it. So now when you introduce foreign materials, what happens is it disrupts the pH from the normal one. So now actually encouraging infections to come in. And when you have been doing these things, it causes scarring and it causes like depletion, because this is a very corrosive material. We have known that some even actually add soda to it. So imagine when you add certain things to it and it's corrosive, if those places have lesions, it can actually lead to pre-lesion, pre-cancer lesion, and actually lead to cancer.
Thank you, Sainabu, for coming on this program. I wish we could have enough time. It's becoming very, the more we are going, the conversation is becoming more interesting, Aliu. You know, it's good to learn from you, and we are wishing you good luck.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming. And of course, we'll be taking a short break. After the break, then the click segment with Buba Fatih. Skengman, Mamad's friend, will be back.
nga noro tarale birin dunia be datila adabe na baluwo konole nsulata noro pour kanna dokuwol ke kanna bungol lo kanna fengol fi hanim fanan kanna kanunyol je noro ka kuol sone yandi woto kiwsel ya kiw pawa sanya kutole nati isela kas pawa sotono katabake anin yin kiwsel la yin kod kuto ila dunia malandi anin yin star 363 has katabake hanna tara ibela suwokono ila ofisoko anin dulalo star 363 has kumandi sai kiw pawa kiela dunia mala malandi kiwsel suñu bos ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma
danga bëgg a jot sa xaalis si num gën a gaawee te yobba léegi ak Ria mun ngaa jot sa xaalis bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew si sa kiw money te doo si fay dara boo jotee ab xibaar si sa téléphone bi ne jot nga koppar bu bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew mun ngaa dem seet kiw money agent bu la gën a jege jot sa xaalis te doo si fay dara bu la neexee mun nga koo jëndee crédit kiw power wala jëfandikoo ak yeneen kiw money service yi gaaw na wóor na te noppale na pour am si lu la wóor woo ñu si 133 kiw money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast.
Welcome back from that break, and of course we are back again, and Aliu will go straight to click segment. We have Buba Fatih with us in the studio. How was your Valentine yesterday?
It was on a low mood. I was at home with my TV.
When I was coming to work this morning, I saw cake spilled all over the place around my area.
Yeah, obviously, you know, it was fun yesterday. We had fun yesterday. And how do you spend your Valentine as well?
Well, I spent it with my wife. You know, we spent the whole night together. She cooked a very good dinner, and I took my attire, then went to bed.
Well, I spent it on bed with my laptop. I was moving till 4 a.m. in the morning, so I'm kind of sleepy as well, man. Good morning, guys. I'm Skengman Sweezy, and my guest today is the amazing Baz. Welcome to the show, bro.
Yo. Thanks for having me, bro.
First of all, how do you spend your Valentine?
Well, just same at bed and just watching TV and stuff, you know,
So
keeping it on the low.
You trying to tell me Bay was not here yesterday?
A handsome guy like this will not watch TV.
Bulen Madugal.
So it was like Bay wasn't there yesterday, man.
Nah, man, like Netflix alone.
I know, man.
Yeah.
But first of all, man, I'm glad you're here today.
Yo, thanks.
You know, the hard work you've been putting in your music and visuals as well. It tells a lot, man, and respect for that as well.
Thanks a
but
lot.
to the fans out there, quickly tell us who is Baz and really what got you into music.
Baz is an Afro artist, you know, born and bred in the Gambia, and you know, rapping Manjai, MK City, you know, and I've been doing music since 2019, though I've been writing music since when I was a kid, you know.
Right,
I grew up in a household where, you know, we loved music, you know, so it's basically Sidaret Bilam.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can tell, man, Sidaret Bilam, I know, man. I can tell from your voice as well. You know, somebody told me you rap as well and then you sing as well,
yeah,
man. And tell us about your music career, actually. Well, what has been inspiring you, actually, when it comes to the music scene in the Gambia?
Well, let me go ahead. I was born in a household where, you know, we had CDs of, you know, great musicians that I listened to when I was a kid, you know. So I had crammed, you know, memorized every, you know, line of, you know, artists like Eminem and, you know, those stuff that influenced me into rapping, you know. So I still am a rapper though, you know. I used to rap back in high school, and then, you know, given that now Afro music is, you know, trending basically, so that helped me transition into Afro. Yeah. So
now, you've been an Afrobeat artist. Actually, we have a lot of Afrobeat artists in the Gambia, and you're kind of unique in your own way, actually. You know. So how are you coping with the music industry so far? As an artist of your type.
Well, I've been getting a lot of love because since you could look at the songs I've been having with these big artists, you know, so it's not a fluke basically. So it's, you know, it's love basically, you know, having the likes of Jizzle, you know, reaching out to do a remix on my song, having, you know, it's an honor to be in G's album too.
Exactly,
you know,
and you're like one of the artists featured on an album song.
Yeah, exactly.
The main song of an album.
And it's not
for
only
G
that,
and Chana as well, you know?
Exactly.
So it's a big move, bro.
It's actually, the industry's treating me nice for now, basically.
Yeah. So how did you meet G actually? And
we haven't met until now, you know, but Yuva linked us up, you know, he heard my song, so he had Yuva linked us up, and he messaged me and told me he wanted me on his album, and, you know, he motivated me and said he loved my music, and, you know, I should just keep doing me. So, you know, shout out to G.
Now let's watch your music video. Trust me, I can't wait, man. We're about to have fun. You know, we didn't celebrate Valentine's yesterday. We're celebrating it today, man. Let's watch this quick video by Baz featuring Jizzle, Techie.
Pray for the day we have low. Make noise, but they get the money on the low, Yeah, TRB Bandit,
Styles Pro on the beat.
Me, I go fi pray for the day where I blow. Make noise, but then get the money on the low. If you bad energy, come on, no jupo. Plenty money, general, so my mer moto. Me, I'm not alone now, man, it's my brothers. All of my God, boy, I'm a Maradona. Moving more jealousy. Nigga, why you hating? It's a race, life in marathon. I'm up on my city, oh, on the map, hang out with Litty, oh, but I got on the grind, Litty all night. We must shine, all on how we grind, then we go repeat it over. More time, I get dropped, all of my fighting it. If you buy the money, then we vibing it. Money connection, say the wifey. Watch me light up like I'm lightning, yeah. We must elevate, you know. Big friends, I'll be blessing, no. Blessings for me, Decky, we must elevate, you know. Big friends, I'll be blessing, no. Blessings for me, Decky,
I wanna be a billionaire, so fucking bad, I swear. Scorpion. Two more broski, you know, fuck could do it, so to Kuba, yeah. Something, me, I'm up to something, and I know them are watching. But energies by the way, stay the fuck out of my way, yeah. And the moves, every day, 2 phones, like I'm Kevin Gates, love like I elevate, the enemy will be eliminated.
Only for that gang, I be riding it. If you talking shit, we ain't vibing it. Money connection, see the wifey. Watch me expand like I'm icy. We must
celebrate now. Yeah, man. I told you, man. It's Valentine's Day, man.
Is that the guy that did that video with G? I mean, that
He's the one.
Video.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Well, I love that.
No, you know, I rate his music, though. I'm not gonna lie,
bro.
man. He's been doing great, man. Now let's talk about this masterpiece, man.
Yeah.
You released the single track alone, actually. And I don't know, it was you or Jizzle that tweeted. Was about to jump on the remix, man. I think it was you, right?
Yeah, no, he
tweeted it first.
He did, yeah, he did. You know, I think it was basically the fans were like, "Come, Jizzle should do a remix."
Should drop on it as well.
Yeah, and so he messaged me. He was like, "So, what do you think about it?" So, you know, it's Jizzle, so you don't say no. So, you know, we just
it's Jizzle. Yeah. Now let's talk about you writing this song alone, man. Yeah. It sends out message, man. It doesn't only send message. It talks about you as well, man.
Exactly.
So, what really inspired you to work on something?
Yeah, it was just basically, you know, I just graduated high school, and you know, it's a tough time when you just graduate, when you're used to, you know, having everything done for you.
Exactly.
You know, and then you have to step into this harsh world, and you know, and the only thing you want to do is just, you know, work hard and just take it. So basically, it was me writing based on what I was going through, and you know, that came out in the song, and people liked it. You know. So.
Yeah. To be honest, I keep telling Gambian artists this: you should be good in your own craft.
Yeah, definitely.
This was the first song that you dropped that I've listened to, and this song has been making waves as well.
Yeah,
and this song got the attention of Jizzle and other big artists as
Yeah.
well. And now you've been featured on their albums and other stuff like that, man. What is the next big thing for you as an artist?
Well, right now I'm working on a big project, basically my EP that's coming out this year. So it was supposed to be out, you know, early this year, but Ramadan is coming close, and you know, so hopefully just after Ramadan we will drop it, and I'll be dropping a single next week, early this week or next week, but most likely it's,
we need to have a snippet. What's the name of the EP?
Turkey season.
Turkey season, man.
Turkey season.
We all about. Hold on, by the way, Turkey season.
Take everything. Feeling like I'm Chapo, see the way with the ball on me. Man, cocaine. Moving like I'm Pablo, whole gang with a tofu. Nobody can cross my lane. So many enemies, I feel my energy.
Me one like never come my way.
I'm feeling like I'm Chapo, see the way with the ball on. Nobody can cross my lane.
Now let's talk about the Gambian music scene.
Thanks, bro.
Let's talk about the music scene, bro.
Yeah.
We all know the music scene is really regenerating to a different.
But quickly, the allotting of time is so
and let's talk about this, and then how are you planning as an artist? What are the strategies you're putting in place to market your music outside of the Gambia, and your final words to your fans as well?
Yeah, basically, it's if you hear my music, you hear a little bit of, you know, that Afro vibe, you know. So basically, that vibe is basically what I'm hoping. It could carry the music outside the Gambia and the local language to keep it in here. So yeah, basically, and shouts to everybody that's been supporting my music. Shouts to my dad. Shouts to my bro, my manager. He's here. Shouts to my sister who's upstairs. You know. Shouts to the whole family, the whole team, the whole gang.
Shout out to the whole gang, man. Shout out to Skankman Suzy gang. Shout out to Team Suzy. Shout out to Black Boy. And shout out to myself, and shout out to my baby, man. Shout out to my boss, Mamad, man. To be honest.
Hey, Mamad.
Mamad, your
and
friend.
from my end, I'm saying bye-bye. But trust me, you're going to see me tomorrow, man. Different level, different setting. Back to you, Bale. And it was a pleasure having you, bro.
Yo, thanks, yo.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on this platform. Aliu?
Yeah, thank you so much.
But I think we should close to the freestyle. Give us a freestyle from the song you're dropping.
We go straight.
Yeah.
The song I'm dropping?
Yeah.
One thing I want to make very clear. Man, I'm on my bad mind. Me, I'm on my grinding now. Till I get my name everywhere. Do my follow haters, so and they hate talk shit all. Live my life where I want to live it all. Big man grind, brother, fuck me get the dough. Flow sick, motor hater, see they catch it cold. If you bad like me, brother, me and you are.
Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
Until we come here again tomorrow, have
Bye-bye.
a wonderful day.
ila ñantolum preji kendomi annun ji senengo adabe hadama dungula balu wala kono annun hadama dung ka fengo fen dundi akono kono ayanda ke ku senewol ay ke kuti mi yalla ko ata hadama dung mantora madum one stop water solutions limited ibi jande gambia banko kan annun ye filtarole natal me yalla ko isala jiol kende andi anu isa senen inatale pour ka ji kendo ji senewo natale gambia banko kan jio mi yalla ko atal mantora la annun jio diata ba one stop water solutions limited ye filtarole natal me yalla ko alse muna fangano la alla pompol isala jiol tenteng ya senendi coming alla fala nyame naketa pompoti bang abo hono fo nawek la pipe wala a filter sifa o sifa one stop solutions ya natale 10-inch filter set of 3 ya sotale filter mi yalla ko acid yota aya tenteng natara bankole ba kono fa kenyo wala kankan be bije sa be bon filter fana member ko 12-inch set of 3 filter mi yalla ko acid yota aya dada aya senendi mense beta alla jata kendato o fana sotale CTO block carbon filter o fana mu filter mi yalla ko acid chemical o bonnino jiol kono le mense beta ya alla jata kende ya filter mum boko CTO block carbon men si jiola chemical be bondi akono pour kala jata kende ya sahen nim filter sabol be kili wo kili na pansun doku na wata tankol fanan sotali kabrim 500 5000 fokata 10000 liters plumbing fittings fanan be mol bulle alsimol tarano sukuta highway mariama kunda johnson wala isimol kumandi 505 5691 796 8270 one stop water limited solutions inata leka jikuo be sonende gambia banko